Welcome to the Candy Valentino Show, the podcast for founders, investors, and entrepreneurs, where we have honest conversations about what it takes to grow your business, build more wealth, and create financial freedom.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Candy Valentino Show. Thanks for tuning in with me today. Today's segment is going to be a fun one. We've got the Ask Candy segment. And so many of you have sent in from our website, from our voice recorder. So we've been getting your messages and compiling them for our next episode. And today's the day. So I'm really excited about this. This is coming from Kevin from California. Candy, I have seen you on Ed Milet a few times and think you were impressive in your knowledge and fortitude. Thank you so much for that. Would you mind sharing how brutally tough it was or is to start and scale a business? Then share what one must endure and realistically the time it takes for the average entrepreneur to see some reasonable success in business. I have started an HVAC company 2 years ago, and I am definitely finding it brutally hard to grow the business. What advice do you have for me? Kevin, great question. The very first thing I want to say is that what you're experiencing right now is completely normal. We are inundated with images on social media, with people saying how glamorous entrepreneurship is, sharing $50,000, $100,000 months in their business. And not only are some of them maybe changing the reality of things or not sharing how difficult it was or not sharing the money that they lost, or some of them, quite honestly, are flat out frauds. That exists too. I just want you to know that what you're going through is exactly normal in the process of starting. You are 2 years in, and it makes me think about when I started my very first company at 19. I was about 21, 22 years old, around the same, probably 2-3 years in business like you are. And I remember asking friends like, oh my gosh, when does this get better? When are we going to start making money? Like, when am I not going to work so hard? And I remember a long-term real estate investor in my hometown saying, oh, Candy, you've got like 10 years. I was like, what? He's like, seriously, it takes 10 years to really get stable so that you can start to scale and understand your costs. And he went into everything with me. And that was a brutal pill to swallow and to hear. But what it did was it really made me focus on the long-term game. So often, because of social media and all of the things that we're inundated with, we think that it's going to be this quick thing. It's not. Not when you build it right and not when you build it to be sustained. And when you're focused on growth, you're actually focused on more. So where you are right now, you may not actually be scaling at all. You may be focused on just growing the business, two different things. In order to grow a business, we need to deploy capital inside of the business in order to acquire more customers to grow our revenue. Typically, when you're in growth mode, you are not maintaining consistent profitability. When you are scaling a business, totally different. You are not deploying more capital into the business. The top line revenue is growing, but your expenses are not growing at the same rate. Scaling is when you start to stabilize your expenses, you acquire more customers, but you become more profitable. In the 9% Edge, I talk about this. It is really easy to start a business. The barrier to entry has never been lower. You can open up your laptop and in 48 hours have an EIN number, an LLC, and say that you're an entrepreneur. It is a totally different skill set to grow it. And what you need in the very, very beginning where you are right now, those first 3 years, you need an unshakable mindset. You need to care about your dreams more than the opinions of other people. You need to tune out so much of what the world is trying to flash at you and not have shiny object syndrome like so many entrepreneurs do. You need to double down on your focus, double down on your discipline, and make sure that you're truly committed to building this. An HVAC company, the reason I went like this when I was reading your question, is a phenomenal industry. If I was starting something today from scratch, and I needed to build something highly profitable that I wanted to exit, I would most likely be looking in the trades. HVAC, electric, plumbing, roofing, you name it. There are a lot of businesses that are being started like YouTube and online brands and all of these things. That's the flash. But really at the end of the day, what are the trades that we know that are recession proof? And if I had skills in HVAC or electric or plumbing or roofing or mobile detailing or landscape design, you name it, I would be starting businesses in those areas, knowing that if I provide exceptional customer service, if I provide more value than anybody else in my industry, if I show up, if I answer the phone, if I make sure to do a great job, if I take care of the customers, if I develop a referral program in order to grow, if I go do door knockers on every single door in my area, yes, I have actually done that. Pound the pavement, we call it, taking flyers into other businesses, taking flyers into people's homes, rolling them up in the newspaper back in the day when we had newspaper boxes, and then being able to deliver service better than anybody else in the industry. Then what happens is all of these people on social media are trying to sell you the concept of marketing or Facebook ads or being in this mastermind or this network. But in the beginning, it actually takes you. It takes your time, your commitment, and your focus to double down on your skills, to develop your business acumen, and to just keep showing up. I talk about one of the things that probably made me the most successful because I didn't have any gifts. I wasn't the smartest person in the room. I wasn't the most connected. I certainly didn't come from wealthy parents or have some trust fund that I could start with. One of the most things that made me successful was I was willing to show up before everyone else. I was willing to stay when everybody else was going home. I didn't take a vacation. I didn't take a full week's vacation for the first 15 years in my business. I would only take long weekends so that I wasn't away too much from any one location or whatever we had going on. I was willing to do things that nobody else would do so that I could do things later that nobody else can do. That's what's most important. And you will have to say no to so many things so that you can say yes to more than you can imagine later. So stay the course. You are in an incredible industry. If it was some other industry, I would be telling you right now, Kevin, you may want to not, go all in on YouTube channel right now. You may want to think of something else. You are in an incredible industry. Double down on your business acumen. Grab my book, The 9% Edge, just because it's going to teach you everything that you need to acquire a new customer, to build profit, so that you can be part of the 9% who successfully build and scale and actually have an asset to exit in the end. You got this. 2 years in, the next year is critical. It will start to get a little bit easier in years 3 to 5. Keep developing your business acumen, keep doubling down on your focus, keep your discipline, and always remember what it is that you want to build so that you don't build yourself a job that you hate. This is a great question. Thanks so much for asking it. All right, guys, that's all for today's Ask Candy episode. If you want to ask me a question, head over to candyvalentino.com/askcandy, where you can ask your question directly there. It'll send me an email, send the team an email, or you can also leave me a voice memo that we will play right here on the show. Thanks again for tuning in. Go give us a follow over on YouTube so that you can see the Your Money Minute segments that are coming up on Financial Friday. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.